everyone, TheSenpaiCode here. So for today's episode, I think we'll get into teleportation. Like in Crash Bandicoot, you had the second one, you had rooms that you would go in, and then they had portals, like 3 portals that would lead to 3 different levels. You could do something like that with this game. You could get into teleporting to different levels or to just different spots in a level. So say here we have this teleport, we could actually teleport in front of this one. We could actually put the position in front of it or figure out a way to teleport to this cube here. We could do, if they hit E, so if we make another little entrance here, you have to hit E and then that'll bring them into the other, it would teleport them inside. So if you want to do like a house and you want to teleport inside or interact that way, you can. Or yeah, if, like I said, if you want to jump inside a different level, so if we just make a building here and it's supposed to be like a dungeon in like an MMORPG, it would actually teleport them into a different level, because that dungeon would be so massive that you don't want to put a whole bunch of different dungeons on one level. You could do that, but just keep it something simple. So let's jump in to the scripts here. Let's go to the portal to the different level first. So what you want to do is you want to go using Unity.scene management. It used to be application.load level, I think it is, but now it's scene manager.load scene, and then you have your scene, whichever scene you created. You'll put the name in there. I put dungeon 1. So with this, it's pretty simple. You'll have your private void on trigger enter collider other, and then the other would be if other.tag equals player. So our player that we had put the tag on in the previous episode will actually teleport to that dungeon. And so let's go and take a look at this really quick. So if I go open scene, here's that dungeon scene I created. Let's just save this. So here's the scene that I created. And so here's our player model. So what I did is I just dragged the player and made a prefab of him, so that there's a prefab, and then I just dragged and dropped him into position. So wherever you put the player on the level is where he's going to spawn in. So if you have him outside here, he's going to spawn outside. But I made this little room here just to kind of give us an idea, and I put these lights in here because you can actually turn this directional light off because they're going to be inside the dungeon here. So we actually don't need that directional light. We can actually remove it. Something else is when you're transferring levels, so if I transfer back to the other level, because I do have a directional light, it bakes on, so you will have to turn that off through the settings. I can't remember what it is, like the options. I'll have to look it up. I'll do that. But yeah, so let's go back to the opening scene. So this is what I have. This is a different scene here. So let's load level 1, let the light and everything load up. Let's hit play. So let's run into this dungeon here, which will be on a different level. Boom, boom, boom. So as soon as I collide with it, teleports me to the dungeon, to this level. Because we do have a clamp and everything on our camera, it doesn't go through the window, through the walls, sorry. And so you can actually make a maze or do whatever, build however you want. If you were going to do the levels like in Crash Bandicoot, like I talked about, where he had like 3 different portals, and you go through one of them and it will teleport you to that level. You could do something like that. You can make this kind of just a room. So here's the next script. Don't mind the crossed out. I was just testing some stuff out. So this is the scene portal, where it's going to teleport you to a vector 3 location, the location on the map. So there is a problem with this. If you have multiple portals, say you have a portal, this is going to teleport you here, and then you have the other one in here that's going to teleport you back out. The thing is, you're going to have to make a new location, so you're going to have to either write it in here, have multiple scripts, or you can create a script where it will tell the game object's ID, call upon the ID, and teleport you to the ID match. And I'll show you that way after this. I just want to show you that you can actually do the vector 3 by a position on the map. So what I have here is this private void on trigger enter collider other being the tag the player, like the first script, and then the other dot transform dot position equals new vector 3, and then it's 25, 0, and 8. And you can actually do this through a story. So if you're going through a story, like in ArcAge, for example, and you're at the start, and it's going to teleport you in front of the ship, and then it's going to teleport you into the air, or teleport you to the starting area of your character. You can kind of do that. You can write it into the story, so once it's done playing the story, it teleports you there. So that's 25.8. That's going to be right in front of this cube. I have it attached onto this cube here, which is a trigger. And the next ones I'll show you will also be triggers. If I hit play, I will teleport in front of that cube, at least I should. Boom. So I teleported right here, which is the position right in front of the cube. I don't have it on this, so I can't actually go back, and it does have a collider and everything. But like I said, if I was going to do it that way, I would probably have to create another script and put that. So the easiest thing to do is actually create ID tags for this. So put this as 1 and 1. So when you hit this, it'll teleport you to the other object named 1. And then teleport you back to the object named 1 when you touch it again. You will have to put a timer or something on it, because if you don't, it's just going to start teleporting you back and forth really fast, and you're not going to be able to get out of it. So you do have to create a way to actually tell it to wait until I get out of the teleport and wait until I touch it again before you activate the trigger effect. So let's get into doing something like that. I haven't wrote that out yet, so I'm going to write that out really quick. All right, and I'm back. So what I have right now is this. So I went ahead and I did a teleport script. So this is like the portal scene, I guess you can say, except it has a cooldown and it's given us an ID. So like I said, I wanted to give it a tag, an ID number, so when we touch this one, it will teleport us to this one, and we can actually just ID all the portals. So if we have more than just one set of portals, and we have, like, say, half a dozen sets, we can actually name it 1-1, and if there's another one here, we can name it 2-2, 3-3, 4-4, and that's all you do is change it here in the inspector. So I have that one selected, that's 1, and this is 1, so they're linked together. So when I hit play, I will actually run in and teleport into this one, and it will not actually just keep teleporting me back because I have a cooldown until I actually exit this and then go back in. It's not going to keep looping us over. And what we can do for these is we can actually just turn off the mesh render on both of these, and now we have the teleport pad there. We don't have a mesh render, and we can just teleport in and it bumps us out. Boom. I'm now inside this one room. So let's go over the script for this. So it's pretty simple. We have the ID. I didn't want to name it tag because we do the Unity, the coding, the scripting, you use .tag a lot to call like player tags and to call other stuff. So I didn't want to call it tag, so I just called it ID. So we do have a float cooldown, and that's for our time. It equals 0. And when we get into the void update down here, it goes if cooldown is greater than 0, cooldown equals minus equals time.delta time. So if there's a cooldown and it's activated, the teleporter won't work, and it will go down in here. So we have our own void on trigger enter collider other. I've went over that in previous episodes. I use that a lot. And it if other dot tag equals player. So if the player tag enters this and the cooldown, so and cooldown is less than 0, so if there is no cooldown, it will activate the teleporter. So I've did other dot game object dot tag before. If I want to actually do this game with less coding, I could actually do it this way, just go other dot tag. But then sometimes you want to actually call the player or call a game object up top. So I actually just took the game object for this one because we don't actually need it. And then continue on. So we get into it. So if that, then it goes for each teleport ID in find object of type ID, so find it in this script. So anything linked with this script with the ID, so if ID.ID, so if something with this ID here and ID dot this, so calling this script and calling the ID number. Then we go into ID.cooldown equals 2, so nothing will happen, and it will keep on 2 until he steps out of the teleporter. So then the vector3 position equals id.gameObject.transform position, so the position of the game object right here. So when we stepped in, it's going to find this game object that we had turned the render off for, the mesh render. And then it will then teleport the other.gameObject.transform.position to that position. And that's how simple this is. And we can create tags now, and it will teleport through this level. So for what we do with the dungeons and teleporting onto different levels, like for this portal that we have over here, we will have to add on to that later. If you're doing an MMORPG, you want to transfer all the data over. You want to have a place that will actually hold the data for the characters, how much items he has, swords, how much gems we have. It will actually teleport the gem amount and everything too. We'll have to actually update that later on. I was actually working on a different way, doing public transform destination equals get component transform. So we'll actually we would actually drag this object. If we're using this, the script will be on there, and then we would actually drag and drop it into the inspector, because it will have a public transform that we could actually do that. And then it would go into the trigger on trigger, then it would go other.transform.position equals destination position. So it would actually transport that to there. And then what we could actually do is actually attach the script onto there, the same script, and then we could actually take this teleport location and put it on there. And we could do something like that. And that way we could also, what we could also do is, instead of giving them both IDs, because if you give them both IDs, this kind of works with only 2, you need 2. But if you want them to be trapped in this room and have to figure out a way to carry on and get out of the room without having another portal here, you could actually do it kind of like what I'm doing here. And then you would not have this linked to anything. So if they walk back into it, it won't trigger. You could have another puzzle where they have to try to figure something out, like a maze, to get to the other end and then teleport out. There's so many different ways to actually do teleport scripts and stuff like that. It's insane, like how much different ways you can actually do this stuff. So let's get on to the next thing. We'll see how much time I have. I might actually put this in the next episode. So we want, like, if this was a house or something, and we want them to come up to here, and we want them to actually hit E on the door or hit E on this teleport. If it was a machine, there was a panel here and they have to activate the teleporter, and we want a GUI to come up and say, like, press E, press F, press space, press enter, whatever, to actually activate the teleporter. But we can get into that. We're going to have to actually create a GUI and everything. Let me just create the script first, and then we'll create the GUI after. But let me just do that, and I'll see you guys back here in a second. Alright, and so now I'm done. I actually had a couple issues trying to figure this out. So this is going to be the script that we're going to be using to teleport from a object as such as a door, like what I put here. So I put this little door here, and then I put another game object, and I just turned off the mesh renderer, and I made it a trigger. And then right behind it here, I put another game object that I turned off the box collider. It's not a trigger. And I also turned off the mesh renderer on it. I also turned off I kept the box collider on this one. Yeah, I did. Well, it's a trigger, so it doesn't matter if it's off or on. So the issue that I had was I was putting on trigger enter here, and it wasn't working. I had to look it up, and it actually is stay, not enter. And that was the one issue that I had. I had another issue. I can't quite remember what it was. Oh yeah, my F key on my keyboard for some reason wasn't working when I was trying to hit it. So that caused a lot of confusion. I'm trying to figure out what was going on, and it finally started working again, which I thought was kind of funny. So this script here, so for this, when we used the GUI before, we actually had to put up here using the GUI system for Unity up top here. We don't actually have to do it for this script. I might put it in later and see if it will work, or just to have it call off that system anyways. So I did a canvas. I'll get into this first. So I did a canvas, and all I did was put a text. I'll go into the 2D view, and I'll turn it on here so that you guys can see. So like in our previous tutorial when we did the pause screen stuff, if you wanted to go back and look at that, so all I did was put a text, and I put F to enter. That's all I did. And then you just turn the canvas off with the text inside it, and that will turn the text off. Let me go back to the game view, and let me just, I'll click on that just to zoom in here. So then for the game object, you attach the script. I called it teleport switch. That's down here. And I did in the script, public game object teleport GUI. And that's this right here, and this is where you're going to drag and drop the GUI for this teleport. And this will actually work for multiple ones. So if you have door, F to enter, it works for pretty much any door. Or you could put F to teleport, F to do whatever. Then we have a public transform location. The location, which is going to be that cube. So I just dragged and dropped this cube in, and that location. You can make an empty game object. You can do anything like that, and just put it up wherever you want in the level, and it will teleport you to that location. So in the void start, we have the teleport GUI set active as false. So it's always going to be set as false. Even if I have it on, it should set it as false. Then you go into the void on your stay. There is no void update for this. Took it out. I might put it back in later if we do other stuff. It doesn't matter if you have it in or not. So yeah, on trigger stay, collider, other. Teleport GUI dot set active true. Once you enter it, it will set as true. And if other dot game object dot tag equals player, so whenever a player enters it, you will get the GUI pop up, and then you'll have and input dot get key code. F is what I have it to. You can set it as whatever you want. E for enter. You can set it as whichever key. Doesn't matter. And then so if the key goes down, then you go into the next thing right here, which is other.transform.position equals location.transform.position. So it will teleport that. And then even if you are still in that one area, once you leave it, void on trigger exit, the GUI will be set active as false. So let's go ahead and go into this game here and show you guys that this works too. So going into it, I get this pop-up, F to enter. If I leave it, exit it, it will pop off. And if I go back in and I hit F, I teleport to that location. I am now inside the building, if this was a building. And then boom, I can actually just exit through this teleport. So yeah, that's another way to do teleportations, and that way you can actually just drag and drop objects. So you can actually do, like I said with this one, you can actually set just the tags, the IDs, so you can have multiple ones that way and just do 1 1 2 2 3 3 4 4. Or you can just do that and drag and drop whichever entrance way you want into the house. Or if you want to do a house, the interior of the house is a different level, you can do what we did here. Yeah, so that's a few different ways that you can do teleportations. You can do portals to different levels, whole bunch of different things if you want to be able to enter buildings, activate different things. So even if you have objects like chests and stuff that you want them to be able to open, and key codes, you can kind of do that, what we did with this door, but with the chests and stuff. And we'll get into all that later on. We'll create some chests, or we'll create some stuff that you can activate, different panels for not just portals, but platforms, a whole bunch of other stuff. And I think we're pretty much out of time for this episode, so we still have a lot to do. Don't mind my little stuff that is threw together really quick just to show you guys this. I do actually want to get into the terrain toolkit. I've been wanting to do that for a while, just to start getting different things going. Maybe get like an ice level, this desert level going, mountainous, and just a whole bunch of other things. So much to cover and so little time. But I'll see you guys in the next episode. Have a good day, and I'll see you guys later.
Fire burns as the feelings start. I put a wall around my heart, but you're breaking it down.